Guys, friends and foes, thank you very much for joining us for episode 2 of the podcast. You're joining us here, me and Pritch this time, no heats. So for you guys that are maybe joining the Outpost podcast for the first time, check out last week's recording whenever you feel like it. But this week, it's me, it's Pritch. If you guys haven't heard of Pritch already, check out his Twitch channel, pritch.tv/Pritch5. And also check out his YouTube. He will be posting every week's podcast with video, so you can see our beautiful faces. But if you just want to stick to the deluxe tones, you can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple. And if you are finding us through the Apple podcast system, a 5-star review helps us grow, and we're very, very grateful for all that kind of stuff. Anyway, coming back to Pritch, if you can find him over on YouTube, you can find every week's podcast video there. He chucks up loads of good quality New World content and a bit of Guild Wars 2, Pritch. I was going back through the logs.
Yep.
Bit of Guild Wars 2 stuff back in the day.
Oh yeah, back in the day, like 2 months ago.
Back in the day, back before New World beta.
Before New World, yeah.
Are you gonna be jumping back on Guild Wars 2 when the beta's down?
Well, so my game plan is I'm gonna be hitting up a bunch of New World videos, guides on weapons, guides on builds, interactions, story quests, all that kind of stuff. So.
Okay.
YouTube-wise, it's going to be a lot of New World content coming all at once, and then streaming-wise, I'll probably stream Guild Wars 2 for a little bit in the downtime that we have.
So I was watching your videos. I was watching some of your Guild Wars 2 videos, probably while you were asleep over there in the States, UK time. I was sitting there watching some of your stuff. I actually reinstalled Guild Wars 2.
Really?
I reinstalled it after. I haven't played since, is it Heart of Fire?
Heart of Thorns or Path of Fire?
Sorry, Path of Fire. The most recent one. Path of Fire is the most recent one, right? So, as you can tell, I didn't take Guild Wars 2 as seriously towards the end. But I didn't play much of Path of Fire. Just enough to bounce around on a Raptor mount. But I've decided to reinstall after watching your videos. And I've rolled a new character and I've gone for a Necromancer. So there you go.
So what you're saying is my videos were so inspiring on Guardian that you were like, yeah, I don't want to play that.
Yeah. Well, so I grew up here with 2 siblings. One of them's a brother who's a very, very close age to me, and we were forever fiercely competitive. And he was addicted to Guild Wars 2 for a long time, and he lived on his Guardian. And there's something about that deep-rooted sibling conflict that tells me, don't be a Guardian. Your little brother's a Guardian. So I can't play Guardian, therefore I've gone from my Engineer and I've re-rolled a Necromancer. So,
all right.
So yeah, anyway, we won't get logged into Guild Wars 2, not this week anyway.
Welcome to the New World podcast where we talk about Guild Wars 2.
No, we're still keeping Outpost strictly New World, but let's talk about it. So, as we approach the end of beta, we're on the 1st of August. Well, my time we are. 1st of August. Where have you finished up? Well, where are you going to finish up level-wise, Pritch?
So I just hit level 45 last night after finishing the 45 dungeon. That's probably... I doubt I get past 50, because I doubt that I grind out levels for the remaining time that I'm going to play New World.
Okay.
Yeah, how about you? What level have you gotten to?
I got 30. I got 31, actually. Beg your pardon, 31. And most of that towards the end was I just toggled PvP on and was like, I want a PvP now.
Yeah.
I did one war. I did one war this week. And we got absolutely destroyed. My faction lost the only plot of land it had on the server. I think we talked about this last week. You went Syndicate?
Syndicate, correct.
Yeah. So I went Covenant. I went for the Spark, and we were massively. The server I was on, I know it's a massive problem at the moment with the faction popularities. Syndicate were literally like 80% of the player base on our server, and then it felt like there was 15% that were Marauders, and then us little Sparky boys with a fucking. It felt like there was one guild. That was playing Covenant. We got into a war. Most of us were levels between 25 and 35. I kid you not, Pritch. They were I reckon their average level was 55. Like as a guild, most of them were 60s. We just got smashed.
Well, and I'm pretty sure somebody said, so you know how there's PvP scaling in open world, right? Like if a level 55 rolls up on a level 25, the 25 is not getting one shot. Yes, the 55 has advantages and stuff like that, but it's not like it's doable, right? I don't think they have PvP scaling in wars.
They don't.
I'm pretty sure like if a 55 mob rolls up on a 25 mob, the best thing you can hope for is a quick death. Like,
yeah, they don't. They don't. I played Fire Staff and Shield and Sword, and I didn't get to use my Shield and Sword because I couldn't get close without insta dying. And my Fire Staff was, they must have felt like rain to them. It was a slight inconvenience, if anything. So yeah, so that was my wars. You said earlier that you did a 45 dungeon.
Yep. Yeah. So I've rocked the 25, 35, and the 45 now. I think in terms of like, so what I've come to love and expect out of dungeons and games, I'm a stickler for puzzles and jumping puzzles and like those types of mechanics where you got to use your brain to figure out what you got to do, to get to a certain place. And then also just like actual boss fight mechanics, not just like, hey, this boss has a ton of health, just avoid getting hit with auto attacks kind of thing. And I really liked the 35 dungeon, Star Shrine. It has a little bit of a jumping puzzle to it where you got to avoid lasers, and I really enjoyed that one. The 45 dungeon, the Depths, which is on the far east side. I'm forgetting the name of the map right now, but it's to the east of Weaver's Fen. It was kind of just a grind fest of mobs. So you load in, you kill mobs, you activate some stuff, you kill more mobs. There's a cool like teleporter interaction stuff. But there's not really any puzzles involved with it. It's like you take a teleporter and you go kill some more stuff. And then you take a teleporter and you go kill some more stuff. It's pretty linear in how it plays out.
Yeah.
There were two bosses. What's up?
I was going to say that's a bit of a shame because like a lot of the build up around the New World dungeons has been about the puzzles. And I'm like you, again, not to reference Guild Wars 2 too much, the jumping puzzles and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. So the 35 dungeon basically had a jumping puzzle. I loved it. It made me really happy. The 45 didn't really have much in terms of like use your brain or think about things until you got to the very first main boss. Like, you know how there's like the first boss, second boss for all the dungeons. The first main boss actually had mechanics where you get the boss down, and then he I don't remember if this one regens his health or not. I don't think this one regens. So you get the boss to like 50% health, then he phases, and he does this mechanic where there's mines that spawn around him, and he's immune, and then there's teleporters off to your east and your west, and on round 1, 2 ads spawn on the east side, and you need to send people over there to kill the ads, then interact and hold a channel to break like an obelisk thing, and then you come back and the boss isn't immune anymore. And while that's going on, there are mines that are constantly spawning, and it'll spawn 1 at a time, and it'll do that like 4 times, then it'll spawn 2 at a time, then 3 at a time, and 4 at a time. And for every mine that you don't destroy, which it takes a little bit to hit, like a tank in and of himself isn't going to be able to kill a mine. A DPS player can solo 1 mine kind of thing, but the longer it takes, the more mines
they're not one hits.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right.
So I really liked that mechanic. I thought that whole fight was really cool because then what happens is you get the boss to like 15-ish%, 20%, and then he'll phase again. He'll go immune. There's going to be the same exact mechanic where the mines are spawning, but this time there are 2 ads that spawn on the east and 2 ads that spawn on the west, and you need to get both of those, channel both of the obelisks, and obviously there's, you can figure out what kind of strat you want to run. Do you want to have, 2 people go to one side, 3 people go to the other? Do you want to have 1 or 2 people stay in the middle and have a group of 3 that run to one side, quickly clear it, and then run to the other side, quickly clear it? I personally,
you've got to pick a strategy.
Exactly. It's like you actually have to think, and there's options that you can do. TLDR on that fight, guys. I think the easiest thing to do is if you have somebody, maybe like myself, who's playing more of a Reaver style build with a lot of lifesteal, with a great axe and a hatchet, send that person to solo 2 ads, and then send 2 or 3 people to do the other side, maybe your tank, a healer, and 1 DPS. Make that really simple and easy, and then leave one person, leave like 1 DPS in the middle to take care of the early mines so that there's a little bit less damage going on your group. I think that's the easiest way to do it personally. But yeah, I thought that was cool. I thought it was a cool fight, like cool mechanic involved with it. I was happy with that.
Okay, so you've brought me nicely to my next question, and it sounds like it's the same as last week. I was going to ask, so your weapon choices, have they changed? Have you deviated and gone back? Because it sounds like you're still on the Great Axe, which was your favourite from last week, and the Hatchet, which we all praised highly. The amount of hatchets I've died to in open world PvP this week is rude. Even after having the jump on them and starting the fight winning, hatchets are so broken.
Yeah.
Did you deviate at all? Did you change
No.
and go back? Have you tried anything?
Here's the only thing I changed. Literally the only thing I changed is I was running all Berserk left side tree, all melee hatchet
on the
stuff.
hatchet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I swapped my build to incorporate throwing hatchets and doing I believe it's the middle ability on the right tree, where you do a little dash back, you chuck out an axe, and it slows the target for like 3 or 4 seconds.
I'm just trying to find out what the name of the ability is. I know the one you mean. It's the same as the bow step back, the first bow ability. Yeah, it gives you a nice little kind of ground gain as well as someone's approaching you.
And because I wanted to bring that in for PvP for another slow.
I've just found it. It's called social distancing. they so have done that. I didn't realize that. So you've got rending throws, the first one. Infected throw was my favorite because I love dots. But I never ever realized the middle one was called social distancing, and they've 1,000,000% done that on purpose. That's brilliant.
So I take back everything I said. I didn't do it for PvP. I did it because I thought it would be appropriate to just social distance. You know, I was just trying to.
Here in the UK, we're getting back to normal. We're getting back to you have to walk around without your mask on. But
here in America, everyone's freaking out.
When the next politician tells me to social distance, I'm going to start walking the streets with a hatchet on me. And if anyone walks up to me, I'm going to wait. What? You told me to social distance. I did 130% weapon damage to that guy. He's definitely slowed as well. I'm out.
That makes me think of the meme with it's like the fencing. It was like a fencing ad, and it was like the best sport for COVID because you wear masks, and if anyone gets 6 feet or closer than 6 feet, you stab them.
I like it. I never realized that's called social distancing. They 1,000,000% did that one. I'm so glad I checked that.
I swapped it out for that ability, and I quickly found out that I think that ability kind of sucks. I didn't fully upgrade it, but the slow that I was applying wasn't worth it in my opinion, especially because I was animation locked and I dodged backwards, so I had more like room that I had to gap close just to even get to them, and nobody cares about being slowed when you can double dodge roll. So I personally wasn't a huge fan of it. I tried it out for a little bit, and then I wound up going back to full Berserk tree, full melee, because I had swapped out that like 4 or 5 hit ability where it's a quick succession of hits.
That's one of the best ones. That's the damage, man.
Well, I needed to keep the gap closing little dash ability because that's what roots people when they try and run away from me.
Yeah. Well, that's contradicting then jumping backwards to throw a hatchet. So, Okay. You got to try these things. I tried. I didn't like it. I went back to full melee, and it's funny because there was a point where I think when my weapon levels were like everything below weapon level 11 for Hatchet Great Axe, the entire time I was just like, man, Hatchet feels so good. And I was just like looking at my Great Axe and I was like, what are you even doing? And then somewhere around like weapon 11 or 12 is when I started like looking at my stuff and I was like,
man, the Great Axe is doing really good, and the Hatchet kind of feels a little underwhelming now. So yeah.
So I blame my slow leveling this week on I literally did a lap of all the weapons again. I went round once again and did everything. Bar Ice Gauntlets and Life Staff. I did a lap. I did everything. I respec'd into intelligence and stuff and intellect for fire stuff. I did dexterity. I tried my rapier again, and I wound up back at sword and shield. And I actually, to be fair, I've mixed around my second, but I've ended up on sword and shield and with a spear in my secondary. But mainly for the volley, mainly for the yeetable, which we talked about last week, is one of the most satisfying things to land spears and then have your enemies keep them in their face or wherever you manage to stick it. So, okay, cool.
You're a stun heavy build then, aren't you? Because like
love I love chaining the stuns.
Okay.
So you hit them with the spear to open. By the time they've got up, you've hopefully gained the ground you need. You've got a bit of a gap close with the shield and another stun at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time again they've recoiled from that, you've got a third sort of way to lock them in. Between each stun, if you're chaining like 2 auto attacks, you don't get quite time enough for all 3. But if you can chain 1 or 2 auto attacks, by the time they've shaken you off, they've got to choose to run because they're 50% health, unless they're carrying a hatchet and they just turn and fucking burn you. So I've really enjoyed that. I've played heavy armor as well. Did you say that you were doing heavy armor? I can't remember what armor you went for.
Heavy armor is okay. Here's the deal: if you're in heavy armor and you pop berserk on a hatchet and you're using all left side of the tree, there is nobody that is gonna out damage you in a melee fight. It's just not gonna happen. You scale really hard armor wise.
Yeah, I've committed to heavy armor. It's definitely kept me alive a few times. I look at this a few times where I've left with a slither of health left, and I think, God, if I was medium or light, I hope my dodging would have been better because I wouldn't have survived that. It also looks ace. I saw a hilarious post about armor. It was a guy comparing 3 armor sets he had been trying between light, medium, and heavy, and he'd written above it, super, like the heavy armor, he'd put super heavy metal badass. The medium armor, he'd put something like tanky but mobile. And then on the third one, he was in like collars and cuffs and a riffle sort of chest piece. And he put fucking 16th century poet. And I was like, it's funny, but it's true. But I, as much as I like the styles, I do think the heavy armor wins for me. It just looks the most badass.
It was a very easy decision for me. I was like, man, if I was really good at the game, I could probably dodge roll a lot of these abilities and use mobility that way. And I was like, I'm not really good at this game, so I'm going to take the hits anyways. I might as well have the armor.
Like I say, I might try light armor in launch, but I think for now I'll stick to the heavy and let it do some damage so it can core me. Okay, cool. So, last week we spoke about our positive first impressions and also some stuff we felt needed to change.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested. Now you've progressed without talking about, without repeating the stuff we talked about last week in too much detail, because I don't want to bore the audience with growing. Let's talk about between, what were you? You were 30-ish last time we spoke.
I think I was like mid-20s, maybe like 26.
You've done
or so.
Even if you were high 20s or 30, you've done some serious leveling this week. But
yeah, I've definitely
20. You definitely hit it, man. 25 to 45. What are your new positives? And if there are any, what are your new gripes? What are your new problems?
I want to shout out open world dungeons. That is something I have discovered, and they're pretty stinking awesome.
I didn't know this is a thing. You're teaching me now. I'm clueless on this.
So,
You mean events or
no. So every map,
right,
like Monarch's Bluff, Weaver's Fen, whatever, has an open world dungeon where every single ad in that location is an elite or champion level like difficulty scaled, whatever.
All right.
And they give really good experience and really good weapon experience. On top of that, each location has 1 to 2 to 3 bosses that are like actual bosses, like big health pools, hit relatively hard. Not the easiest thing in the world to solo kind of thing, that have a chance to drop really good loot. And I found this out when I was level like 38, and I stumbled across this place in Weaver's Fen that was a level 40. It was like a recommended level 40 open world dungeon, and these are the places that when you hover over them, it'll say recommended party size 5, and then it'll say a recommended level for you. And I killed one of the bosses there because I actually had a quest to kill the boss. It took me like 7 minutes to solo this thing, and this is an open world. My build is broken, but that's a side thing. The boss dropped me an epic hatchet that was level 40, and it was like leagues better than the hatchet I had, and I was like, holy cow, like this is like high-end loot here.
Okay. So wait, so is that purple?
Yeah, purple. Mm-hmm.
Purple loot, man. Jeez. Yeah, I haven't surpassed blue. I haven't got past the nice teal blue, ocean blue, whatever people want to call it, in my gear. But yeah, okay, cool, nice, man, nice. I didn't know that was a thing. I genuinely wasn't aware that open world dungeons were a thing.
Yeah.
So that's education to me. Okay.
If you got a buddy or two online, you should go try and check out an open world dungeon just to have some fun with it. It's also, I think, the best way to level your weapon mastery, like your weapon XP. If you can mob clear quickly, I think, because there are just a lot of ads.
Okay, all right. Well, as long as you're using Great Axe, your exactly. Build is so broken. Great Axe Hatchet is I think the most broken build.
It is. You're literally a Reaver that can't die because you have way too much lifesteal. Yeah,
it's a I don't think it will make it to launch like that, bro. I really I know you love it, and I kind of hope for you it does, because I think it's partly a big part of your enjoyment of the game. I can't see it making it to launch in that state.
Here's my little thing. I think Berserk needs to get nerfed. I don't think you should have a 15-second ability that gives you damage, fortify, so that or not fortify, damage, whatever, grit, so that you can't get staggered, and regen. Like, that's kind of insane. I think that ability needs nerfed. For the rest,
cooldown just needs a bigger cooldown. It can be as strong as it is. It needs a bigger cooldown.
For those that don't know, you pop Berserk, it's on for 15 seconds, then it only has a 15-second cooldown. So you basically only have the cooldown for 15 seconds right now. I love where Great Axe is. I think Great Axe feels really freaking good. There's a lot of ways to play against it well. But I will say this, I know it's really strong. I want them to buff the other weapons to put it on par with Great Axe as opposed to nerfing Great Axe. Like, I wish they made the other weapons feel better.
I think some of them feel good. I think the Rapier feels good. I think Sword and Shield feels good. I think Spear feels good. You're never gonna buff the stuff that I personally think I'm seeing the least of. You're never gonna buff Ice Gauntlets to a level versus the Great Axe currently. I mean, you get a few super skilled players who can ice block and dodge roll and play it well, but the Great Axe is in a huge place at the moment. The other build that I think I've seen Josh OG play it and loads of other streamers play it is this Paladin build, where you've got the Great Hammer and the life staff. That in Wars is mental good. Like, really, really good. You just get on the point. That is all you have to do. And unless you are 1v20, you've won. Yeah. The AoE CC is amazing. The damage is good. And then, while it's all on cooldown, you just heal the shit out of yourself. The area heals continue while you rotate back to your hammer that's now come off cooldown, and you repeat. It is clean, it's overpowered, and I don't think that Paladin build will make it to launch in the same state. Maybe it will, but I don't know. It's up there with your Great axe hatchet build.
It's funny because I think Fire Staff and Hammer are premier amazing weapons, it looks like, in Wars. Like,
Okay.
so for that game mode, they are really strong. I actually think the hammer
I'd
in
agree.
everything, but 1v1 and 2v2 PvPs is actually really strong.
Agreed.
Just a bunch of
Agreed.
CC, and one of the things that I'm noticing as well doing the dungeons is, and I don't know, are you aware that they have break bars and CC bars in the game right now?
No.
So a lot of different champions or mobs will have underneath their health bar, it's a little yellow bar, and when you do any attack that is either a heavy attack, a knockdown, a knockback, a stun, a root, anything that would like displace or do movement or whatever, instead of doing that to these ads, like instead of the ad getting knocked down or knockback, it just takes a chunk out of the bar. And then it's literally the same as Guild Wars 2. Once the bar reaches 0, the boss gets stunned. It goes into this like stunned state and takes increased damage. So you can really take advantage of that if people are using
like a
hammers.
Vulnerability. Yeah, got it. Yeah,
Yep,
okay.
exactly. Which,
Okay, cool.
Again, makes hammers really, really good.
1v1 is probably their only tricky point. 1v1, there's definitely, you 1v1 equal gear score, great hammer versus axe. The axe is coming out on top 99 out of 100 times.
Yeah. The animations are too slow for PvP. For small scale PvP. But when you got somebody focusing on 50 other people, then you can just walk up to them and press all your abilities and they're on their ass then.
Agreed. So, in a minute, I want to dip into what we did last week with the forums. I want to talk about some top forum posts. But before we do that, we talked about a lot of the positives, a lot of the things that have been kind of our most enjoying parts of the game this week.
Yeah.
You've given me your highlights 25 to 45. I'm kind of jealous I didn't get into the high dungeons now you're talking about them, but okay.
They're fun.
I don't want to dwell on negatives. The game's a beta and they're going to do loads of work over the next month. That's why they've given themselves a month pre-launch.
Yeah.
What's the one point of improvement for you? What is your above all else your agony point that needs addressing before launch?
I just hate the clunkiness of, like, this game for me would be so much more fun. It's already fun. It'd be so much more fun if the combat didn't feel clunky. A lot of weapon abilities and animations and whatevers, we talked about this I know last week, so I won't harp on it too much, but they just have clunky long animations that you can't get out of for whatever reason, and even dodge rolls. Like, you dodge roll, there's like that split little second where if you don't weapon swap or you don't stow weapon, you're rooted. Like, there's just a lot of things where at the end of the animation, you're rooted and not keeping your momentum. Like, if they can change gameplay to keep momentum and change skills so that you stop hitting a wall and losing your momentum, I think that would make the game combat feel really fun. Nobody's going to complain that it's clunky then, right? That's my biggest thing.
I'm not going to harp on because we talked about reactive combat versus predictive combat, and at the moment it's still on the predictive side of the world. For that conversation, go back a week, go back and listen to last week's podcast so we don't bore everybody. You're right though. The combat is so good, borderline incredible if they can just make it a bit more liquid. I did see, because I watched loads of your stream this week, I did see that you were starting to get the hang of changing, getting out of auto attacks, cancelling auto attacks, restarting auto attacks. I saw that you were getting that down, but it's the animations on the abilities, right? It's the heavy hitting stuff. Let's take the Great Axe. It has that awesome pull, yeah? Is that in your build at the moment? The 8-meter pull?
Oh yeah.
That, when you commit to it, if you don't hook, they've got time to advance on you and hit you before the animation's finished. So it's a I guess practice. I haven't practiced with it enough. You got to make sure you land that. You got to make sure they're inside the range. Otherwise, if they're outside of the range, they can almost catch into you and do more damage than punish you for it, I guess. So yeah, I'm with you. Okay, cool.
they've done a good job for those watching or listening. You can cancel your auto attack animations, like, so basically what you do is you cancel the back half of your animations after the damage has already been applied using abilities. So basically, like, the abilities will override the auto attacks, but you cannot override your abilities with a dodge roll or a weapon swap. And I think
another ability.
that kind of sucks because then you're stuck, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we're talking split seconds.
Yeah.
But it makes the difference. When your brain's doing 1,000 miles an hour because it's a tense PvP moment, split seconds make the difference. Even if it's half of an auto attack after the damage is registered to then switch to an ability.
Yeah.
But yeah, fair enough. I'm on the simpler end. See, you've gone into detail, granular, sand level detail. I just want to mount. I want to mount. I want to ride about. I don't want to walk everywhere. I don't want to walk. If I want to go for a fucking walk, I will talk to my missus and I will go down the forest and I'll go for a walk. I don't want to walk. I want to ride something. It doesn't have to be I don't know. It hasn't got to be a dragon or anything dumb.
Do you want it to be a multicolored lion?
No, dude. Let's not get into that because I've seen some posts that are immersion breaking about the indoor stuff. But I'll ride a boar. I'll catch you. I'll even catch my own. I'll make the rope from hemp, I don't know, or something like that, and I'll ride my own boar. But yeah, anyway, see, I'm simple. Just give me a mount. I'm cool.
I can guarantee you they're probably gonna do your thing before they ever do my thing.
Well, but I'm on the super simple end. You're at the granular, advanced, detailed, sand level end. The community's got everything in between us. So let's talk about the top 5 forum posts this week. I've actually taken 3 from Reddit. The actual New World forums were a bit quiet this week, but the Reddit was popping. The Reddit was in between memes, in between some pretty funny stuff actually. There were 3 intelligent, worthwhile points talking about.
That's 2 more than normal on Reddit.
Yeah, no, there was 3 decent points. And then I've got 2 from the normal forum. So we'll work backwards. This was the first 2 are from the normal forum.
Okay.
This one's been a talking point, and it started after the last podcast. So everyone's probably read this if they bother with forums and Reddit and stuff like that. The point is, do not listen to streamers asking to remove PvP scaling. That's the title of it. And that's what we were talking about very slightly earlier about somebody who's level 54 going up to somebody who's level 26. The game isn't perfect, but does try to balance it in open world PvP, yeah?
What streamers are asking to not like why?
Apparently, Tim the Tap Man, and there's a few others who aren't for it, and I don't get it because why would you not want as fair the gameplay as you can be? People that are saying that, and you know, whichever streamer it is, doesn't matter, or any player saying this on a forum. What you're saying is, I've been on the game longer, I've played for longer. Therefore, I want the right to go smash someone who's new and trying to get into PvP.
Yeah.
That's just bullshit. And these are the same people that want PvP servers. And Amazon have they had PvP servers in the alpha, I found out after our last podcast, and binned them and are very, very against them for this exact same reason. Big players smashing small players.
Yeah.
Like, go fight. It's literally... It's such a cliche. Go pick on someone your own size.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just go to a different zone. Go to one of the higher level zones and fight. Like, you know, my thing is, okay, if you don't want PvP scaling, that literally just means that you want to take advantage of the fact that you're a level 35 that can stomp a level 15. Like, what joy and excitement are you getting in your life for that? And like, what viewers are just like, man, you know what sounds really fun? Watching somebody get one shot because he leveled harder. Like that.
Yeah, there's no skill in that. There's dedication to the game that's got you further, I grant you.
Yeah.
But it's not like, you know, people watch streams, because this point is specifically about streamers, so let's talk streamers. People watch people like, let's take Shroud, okay? You watch a Shroud, I don't know, a PUBG stream of his. You watch him not because he's played the game longer than some schmuck. You watch him for his skill. You watch him for his ability, and probably
or
deep
entertainment.
down a bit of the other ones.
Or you think he's
entertainment.
fun.
He's very all that as well. That goes as well. But some people will say like, Doctor Disrespect is really entertaining. Shroud, for me, I think predominantly the reason he's where he is because the bloke has got some serious skill. Now, turning around and saying, I'm more skilled than you, I'm 20 levels higher, and therefore I'm going to beat you in open world PvP. What? Where's the skill in that? That's just, like I say, pick on someone your own size.
Yeah. And the thing is, just so that people are aware, you still have a fat advantage with this PvP scaling. Like, your weapons are way higher in your attribute points, so you have way more passives, and like you still have a huge advantage.
But you might not be as OP in a 2 or 3v1.
Yeah. Well,
it's probably more the point.
I'll say this though, not to wreck your covenants over there, but we did a fort battle like, I don't know, 2 days ago, and it was me and two other syndicates. And I kid you not, there were probably at least 12 covenants. Like, I think it was the entire covenant population on the server. And we were very consistently going in, killing two of them, and getting out. And then we would go back in when we had our cooldowns, kill two, come back out.
Fuck me. That's a fort battle. That's not open world PvP when people are trying to get their PvP quest done or they're running back for the inn. That's fort battle. I don't know. I can kind of like... If you get caught by that bullshittery, then more for you. All right. So the next most popular post, and this is actually the most popular post on the main forum.
Okay.
Was quote, "Our vision for combat. What happened?" And this is somebody who's played through alpha, played through beta, it seems, and they're talking about. I think we actually brought something up similar from another post last week. They're talking about the stagger lock that was in alpha. They're talking about how much cleaner combat was, how you were rewarded for skill, how you were going to come off better in fights. And now it's kind of like this choppy slapping match. Like, I'm going to hit you, you're going to hit me, I'm going to hit you. And that apparently since alpha has been a huge downgrade. And going by the popularity of this post, this isn't some mad person going off on one. This post has had 36,000 views, 5,000 people have liked it. Therefore, you kind of insinuate they agree, and it is the most talked about topic on the forums this week. So 2,500 replies. So this is a big point.
So neither of us played alpha. Neither of us are going to come at this from the perspective of we know what it felt like to play with stagger. I've talked with a bunch of people that have heard their opinions and stuff like that. So just understand we didn't physically do it ourselves. But okay, when you're flagged for PvP, there are, in my head, different scenarios of how these PvP fights are going to play out. It's two light armors fighting each other. It's two heavy armors fighting each other, or it's one light and one heavy armor fighting each other. And for me, when I think of a medium class, I'm just like, it's a little bit of both. And in my head, it's still going to play the same. But those are kind of my three general views on it. And what I'll say is when it is a heavy versus heavy attack fight, it is essentially two people standing there whacking each other away. Who's going to do better damage? Like,
who's got the biggest stick? Right?
Yeah, exactly. But what I will say, and I just want to throw this out there because I'm noticing a lot of people not doing this. Here's how you get good at a heavy v heavy fight. If they are throwing auto attacks at you, use your block. Block the auto attacks that are the light attacks. When they are throwing heavy attacks at you, use that little dodge to just get away from it. Like, your dodge is still a little bit of a dash. You can get away from the attacks. And then just time your skills and abilities and know, like, hey, if this person just popped Berserk and has his full hatchet combo up, I'm probably not going to stand here and beat this person in a whacking contest. So, like, run away until Berserk is done.
Even count off 15 seconds in your head.
Yes. And the biggest thing I want to highlight is if you're using a heavy weapon, let's say you're using Sword Shield, let's say you're using Great Axe, or you're using Warhammer. If the opponent is smart enough to say, hey, I have the ability to block your auto attacks, do a heavy attack. Literally, I was testing this last night. A Great Axe heavy attack will chunk their stamina bar from 100 to like 2. Which means if you heavy attack Reap...
that's because Great Axes are OP, but go on, carry on.
Yes. All that to say, though, any heavy attack plus a little bit of something extra will instantly stun the opponent. And that's how you take advantage of stuns in heavy v heavy attacks. Stagger in heavy v heavy attacks, I think, would be very interesting. I'm not sure... It would almost feel like whoever has the faster swinging attack that would cause a stagger would essentially win heavy v heavy fights. So I'm not too sure how I feel about that, right? Like, let's say it's a Warhammer versus a Great Axe. Both auto attacks would cause a stagger. If I on my Great Axe am just mashing one or mashing auto attack, and the hammer dude's mashing auto attack, the Great Axe wins every time because I'm going to cancel their auto attack with a stagger every time. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think the real bread and butter for me for why people want stagger back is heavy versus light. As a heavy, our abilities and our things take a really long time to cast, or are on a very long cooldown, and Reap, for example, is like a 20-second cooldown. I'll pull you in once, get a good amount of health off you, get you like a 2/3 health, and then you're going to double dodge roll out immediately and run away, right? There's no stagger, there's no he's kind of stuck a little bit. So I think the big gripe is how easy it is for light armor classes to get out of heavy classes that have done a good job of gap closing and hitting abilities. That's where I think it comes from.
I'm with you on the. I didn't have it. I never played it, so I don't know any better than what I've got at the moment. All I'll go with is I'm a man of diplomacy. I'm a man of democracy, and the community wants it back. So we'll see what state the combat comes out, I guess, at launch. But they've got 30 days to consider whether they're going to put stagger back. Moving over to Reddit, these points are nice and quick and just to the point.
Let's do it.
Third on Reddit this week. Can't fast travel? Just die. Repair packs are cheaper than Azoth anyway. So true. We talked about this last week, so we won't harp on. But if you just want to go, if you want to go back, just pull a few things, let them kill you, repair your kit, and save your Azoth. So.
It's true until you get to endgame.
Okay. So this person must be low level with me, because at the moment I didn't want to do it because I felt like I was robbing myself of no, I don't want to die. I got to keep my character alive. I don't want to die. And then just the sheer volume of back and forth, I was like, sod it. Pull a few skeletons. Pull Jimmy the skeleton. Let him kill me.
Early levels do it. Always kill yourself. Sounds weird out of context, but always hit respawn and go back to your settlement. Don't run it. It's quicker that way. Once you get to later levels, but once you get once your gear starts getting into the 400s and 500s, it costs a lot of gold to repair your gear. I'm level 45 right now. My gear stuff is low to mid 400s. When I have to repair an armor or weapon, it's easily 40-50 gold per item.
Not cheap at all.
Yeah, and that's not even the end game stuff yet. So it does get costly after a bit.
So you genuinely do not want to damage your lovely purple hatchet to spend that much money on it. So you're walking. Coming back to my point, give me a mount. Give me something. Okay.
They're going to. They're going to. It's just a matter of them doing it right.
Of course they are. And of course they are. Yeah, absolutely. Right, second on Reddit. And it's the most beautiful short title, says it all. New World is worth it. And it goes in to justify why $40 or 35 Great British pounds in my world. $40 over in your world, Pritch. It goes into talk about why it's worth it. But look, the headline says it all. New World is worth it. I'm a long-time MMO player. World of Warcraft, Guild War, the original Guild Wars, Guild Wars 2. All I've done everything down to like Trove. If it's an MMO, I've dabbled in it. If not, spent probably too much money and time in it. If it's a good one, I'm sure WoW owes me some money from something. Anyway, New World is worth one purchase, no subscription, a vanity-only store, so you literally don't need to spend anything on a pay-to-win model or anything horrible like that. You can buy some nice, pretty things if you so wish and have disposable income. Otherwise, you pay once and you enjoy the game until 18 months from now when they come out with their first bit of DLC, I imagine. Agreed, Pritch? Or what are you saying?
I agree with everything you said, except I think they're going to come out with a DLC faster than 18 months.
Yeah, I said 18 months. Oh, the fuck I said that. I said 18 months, and I was like, come on, it's Amazon. It'll be out in 6 months.
Yeah, I was going to say. No, I fully agree. Again, US, it's $40. Like, it's $40, and you're going to spend easily 250 hours minimum before you might even get close to thinking that you've seen a decent amount of this game. And, like, if you want to explore everything, do everything, have everything, easily you're putting thousands of hours in.
Let's put it pound for pound against the two biggest MMOs out there at the moment. You've got World of Warcraft and you've got Final Fantasy's pretty huge at the moment. That's popping off.
Yep.
So both of which, Final Fantasy's a bargain. It's only £10 in my world, $12, $13 maybe to pick up in the first instance, and then the same amount every month thereafter for a subscription. So you're looking at, you get 4 months of playtime for $40. In the World of Warcraft world, it's a bit more expensive because you have to buy, up to the expansion you so wish. So actually, to be fair to them, I think it's just now you just buy the latest expansion. But you buy the latest expansion and you pay a similar sort of price tag each month. I think it's for £8.99, which will be about $10 monthly. So again, okay, so let's just do it on subscriptions. So those two, you get 4 months of subscriptions for $40. Yeah?
Yep.
New World, you pay your $40 up front. There is, in the beta alone, there is more than 4 months worth of content. We are now, if you just played it, if you treated it like a campaign, and put it up against, put it up against something that isn't MMO, put it up against Cyberpunk, you're getting more value, more playtime for your money right here, right now in New World, and it's not even ready yet. Put that into perspective. Spend your money now, and then you've got content to play with for fucking ages. Value for money wise, it's above and beyond. So I agree with this Redditor who's putting out there, New World is worth it. Okay, cool. The last point, the number 1 point, the most talked about thing on Reddit, New World game, if anybody cares where I get these from. With a total of 1.1k upvotes, to all of those out there saying the game should be delayed and/or sucks, you are wrong. So essentially, this person goes on what could be a twit longer. It literally is an essay, but they've quite kindly done it. They've actually nicked your phrase, Pritch. TLDR. I love it. I love it when you say TLDR. It's like no one else I know actually goes right. Here's the TLDR. Bosh. Anyway, they've nicked you, and for the sake of not reading this entire thing, people can find it on Reddit if they want. TLDR, stop being a whiny bitch and enjoy what we've been given.
Yes!
I love it. They didn't put that sentence in bold, and I'm like, put it in bold. That's it.
Stop effing asking for a longer beta. This is what the beta's for. Let them fix whatever they found. Exactly.
Let's just shut the fuck up and let them get the real game out. It's not like it's going to come out on August 1st. September, August 31st, isn't it? It's August 31st. It's not like it's going to come out at the end of the month and then they're going to go, that's it. Dust your hands off. We're never working on that again. They're going to patch. They're going to update. There'll be DLC in 6 months. Shut up. Stop moaning. Let them do what they've got to do and let us have the fucking game.
New World community, look at me. You didn't pay for a pre-launch. You didn't pay for early access. You paid for a beta, or you didn't even pay. I mean, you might have paid for the beta, but you might have just gotten the key.
Free.
It's a beta. It's not early access. Okay, there's a difference.
Yeah. It is so true. It's so true. You're not getting into the finished game. You're playing the tester version.
Yes.
It's not a taster. It's not a sample. It's you are in the not even demonstration. You are in the stress test bit. You're in the bit where we're going to see how much of this we can break and what we need to focus on. Anyway, stop being a whiny bitch and enjoy what we've been given. Love it.
And can I just say for that, everybody that's complaining that wants more beta time, literally all that means is that you're enjoying the game. That literally just means that you're enjoying the game enough that you want to keep playing, which is just that means the game is good. It means inherently this game is fun.
I'm skimming through this post, right, Pritch, and there's another line. I've got to read it because it's just so done. Those screaming that the game sucks, blah, blah, blah. What absolute crap. What is it you want? And the question mark, ... A perfect game sent down from the heavens on a golden platter surrounded by gorgeous women, or men, depending on your taste. It is not only a beta, it's not, but you also want, sorry, big one, you also want it to be free and it mines crypto for you. And it also helps you lose weight and cures all diseases. It's a beta. Let it be, man. Let it be. But yeah, no, that's the top post on Reddit. And Melgaroff, I'm 100% with you on Reddit, my friend. Well done. Nice post.
Agreed.
So that wraps up the forum community world this week, Pritch. I've got one more question for you, my friend, before we potentially wrap up today. What are we gonna do, mate? It's like, this is it. This is we got 24 sweet little hours left, and then what are we gonna do for a month? What are you gonna play for a month?
Well, I've already bought 3 packs of tissues, a lot of crying sessions, maybe go to therapy a little bit.
Yeah. Nice.
But when I'm not being depressed, I've been grinding New World. I've easily put over 100 hours into this in under 2 weeks. So I'm gonna take a step back, like stream a little bit less, and I'm gonna go really hard on just trying to make a bunch of YouTube New World content. A lot of guides for those that have watched my Guild Wars 2 content. It's gonna be really similar guides to how I've done Guardian builds and stuff like that. And hit YouTube hard, and then when I'm not hitting YouTube hard, I'm gonna do a little bit of Guild Wars and just chill. They're doing like Return to Living World season stuff. Grind out those achievements that only take like an hour or two. So yeah, just chill and have fun. How about you?
Guild Wars 2's got an outpost. Bleh. Not to make Outpost. What I was going to say was not to make this Outpost podcast anything to do with Guild Wars 2 again, but they've got another DLC in February coming up. They've announced it, haven't they?
They do. End of Dragons.
That's it. Yeah. Cool. I didn't get the last one right. I'm not going to try and jump in and get the next one right. Okay, cool. So what am I doing? I downloaded Guild Wars 2 and I've reinstalled it, and I've now started I've got a level 11 Necromancer, so I'll be playing through that. With a buddy of mine who me and him got GW2, and we were founders originally and all that, and we followed the hype back then. So for us, it's a nice bit of nostalgia. And then we'll get smashed in World v World and uninstall it. And then when I uninstall that, I will, no doubt in the next 3 days, I will. I've been playing PlanetSide 2 a little bit. Like, I don't know why I'm going back to my nostalgia games, but PlanetSide 2 will probably be my main fix for the month.
Okay.
And until I get my baby, my New World back. I might also, have conversations with my partner, my family, and my friends. I might rekindle those because they've definitely been deprived while I've been playing New World, as important as they are.
I literally told my wife, I was like, all right, here's the deal. For 2 weeks, I'm going to have a really weird schedule. I'm going to be up late. You're not going to be able to see me too much. And I was like, but I promise after the 2 weeks, I'm going to have a lot more time with you. I'm going to stream a lot less. Like, keeping the wives or partners happy. I
said to my fiance, I said, I'm going to start a podcast. She said, why? I said, New World. That's why. So our Sunday dinner time has changed. Anyway, look, on that note, Pritch, I think it's time for us to sign off.
Let's do it.
I think that'll do. And then next week we will still be back. Okay, just because the beta's going down, the Outpost podcast is going to stay up the entire time you're out, so you can get your New World fix here. We'll be talking theory crafting. We'll probably go through some of Pritch's guides because he's way more knowledgeable than I am. And I'll still be here swearing, making jokes, and whatever I can do to make sure this is as informative and entertaining as it can be over the next month until we get our beautiful New World back on the 31st. For now, friends and foes, thank you so much for joining. Please do, if you're on the Apple side of the world, please do leave us a 5-star review. It helps somehow with Apple's algorithm, and I don't completely understand, but it's a thing. So thank you if you can leave us a 5-star review. Other than that, me and Pritch will see you next week. Pritch, you bring along a friend next week. You've got somebody who's going to be joining us next week.
Yeah, I think Bar Down Beef is going to join us, have a little bit of fun, talk New World.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. On that note, Craig, you can stop recording. Pritch, man, thanks for your company, and thank you all for listening and downloading another episode of the Outpost podcast. See you next week.
See you guys.